was really proud of our team, I mean our players, our coaches, all of our support staff, everybody involved with Georgia football this week just did a really good job of staying focused on what was important and handling a lot of things that were swirling around. We all know what I'm talking about, but it was just it's good to see everybody do their job and take care of their business and encourage everybody else. And I was very thankful for our fans. Just bad forecast, season not going quite the way everybody wants, obviously, and could have easily just decided not to come. But all the fans that came, dog walk, our students, just really outstanding. Of course, I always want to thank the Red Coat and Marching Band. But it was a good day, good solid victory, and I was really proud of our players mostly.
Have you ever run so many zone read plays in your career?
You talk about with the.
Yeah, because Coach Schottenheimer said that's, in the NFL you don't do that. He said that's the most he can ever remember running in a game.
Yeah, we ran it a good bit. It was probably more of a different sensation for him, but it's good play. And we run with quarterbacks. We run it with Terry Godwin as well. So we think Terry really has a good feel for it. He did it in high school. We think he handles the ball well from the center. We think that he can make good reads and has athleticism if you do pull it to make something good happen. We all got to work better on our ball security. And the other thing Terry has is he does have the ability to throw the ball pretty good too. So I'm sure that package will have a few throws coming down the road too.
The defense not giving up a touchdown all day and probably holding Patrick toes below 100 yards passing, maybe one of the best defenses he's faced this year.
Oh yeah, the defense did wonderful, and even the stop when we turned it over deep in our territory, and they were able to force a field goal. It's as close as you can get to a shutout as far as how they played. And I guess the offense that can move the ball and has a very good balanced attack and has a quarterback who without question is an NFL type quarterback. I think he's going to be a draft pick. I think he's going to make a team. I think he'll play before his career's over. I think he's got that kind of ability. So just really good job by the defense. And of course, Coach Pruitt heading that group up. He did a wonderful job along with the rest of the staff.
Coach, coaching is such a grind, and it's real hard to have really many celebratory moments because you're turning your attention right away to somebody else. But how much satisfaction was there? I mean, among the coaches and people like you could get it done in the way you got it done.
Yeah, it was. I mean, everybody wasn't doing backflips or anything like that, but everybody felt good. Everybody felt better, there was a lot of support. Throughout the week for each other, a lot of support throughout the game, and then afterwards you could see, the genuine hugs and handshakes that you get after a really solid victory between coaches and coaches, coaches and players, players and players. It was a good, solid victory that was good medicine for us right now. We know there's still a lot of ball to be played, a lot of things that are going to happen before the season's over, but for this particular week, considering everything that was going on, I think the guys rose to the occasion and did well.
Coach, you talk about everything that's going on and all that noise. I mean, I know it's probably not earth-shattering, but does it help you band together even a little bit when something like that goes on?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just like, I mean, how many times in a family, if there's some kind of crisis that happens, everybody just pulls together. And that's how it is, with the football team. Things get rough, and we know that our best shot is to count on each other and trust each other and play hard for each other and prepare well together. And so when you hit that kind of adversity, things can go one way or another, and it went the right way. And I'm proud of everybody, but you got to crank it up again. You got to crank it up again because we got another SEC game. We'll be away from home. An opponent that there's just so much tradition involved in this thing. throw out the records on this game for sure. It's going to be very meaningful for both teams.
Mark, how would you describe the internal dynamics in your football offices? Have they been portrayed accurately?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, I don't even, all I know is that every man who's got a responsibility, he's handling his job. And he is encouraging everybody else's responsibility. And that's what, the way it needs to be. That's the way it's been, and I just really feel like he's just a great picture of, at least for a week, handling things the way they should be. And I'm talking about everybody, not just staff. I'm just talking about just what it takes to put together a game plan and practice it and hold everybody together and not allow young people who are so tied into social media just kind of go off in the wrong direction mentally. Because, it's one of the things I told the team was, I was basically entering the team meeting saying, everybody knows how they feel. I mean, I don't know how you feel, you don't know how I feel, but everybody knows how internally they feel. Now we got to figure out how we're going to act. Because sometimes you don't know how to act. Coach, what do I do? How do I act? How do I respond to this? And so we really tried hard to educate our guys on how to react and how to act. Same thing, and coaches too, remind each other how important everything is to go about our business. And I think everybody listened. I think everybody did what they were supposed to do, and it was a good ending to the week.
Your thoughts about the revamped offensive line performance?
Not bad, not bad. I felt like in the first half we were so close to breaking some runs. We were getting movement, we were getting some creases. We were very close to spitting them out of there and getting some long runs, and that's what I told them at halftime. I said, man, we're that close. I really believe if you just run your feet a little bit longer, a little bit harder, and get just a fraction more, if every guy just gets 4 inches more, we're probably going to break out of there. And that's about what happened. But I thought they did a good job, and if I'm not mistaken, Pike got back in there and played a good bit. I don't know, I can't remember how much he got in there, but I know he got back in there. But Dyshon, for his first start, the only thing I know one time he got whipped in pass pro one time, but then the very next play he battled and did a very good job. That's the only 2 plays I can kind of remember. But for him to be a part of a unit that rushed for 300 yards, he must have done a very good job as well. But I think Isaiah is, I like where our people are. The only thing I didn't like was, Colton hasn't had a lot of reps at guard. Isaiah hadn't had a lot of reps at tackle. Thesis had a lot of reps at left tackle, not right tackle. And I do believe that they were going to know the plays, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't sure. I mean, you got to work in tandem. You got to work together. You need reps side by side. So we weren't having, only a week's worth of reps side by side. That's not a lot. That was my biggest concern. And we'll look at the film to see for sure. But I thought it was solid. That was very solid.
Mark, what about 300 yards? You feel like you guys kind of got back to your identity today for the running game effort?
Well, part of it was just how the game went, getting the lead and trying to finish the game, chewing clock and all that kind of thing. It might not have been that big of an imbalance as far as run to pass. But, if you run over a couple hundred yards, it's a really good day running the ball. And we just didn't need to throw the ball quite so much in the second half. But part of our identity is to run the ball and run it well and have, obviously, play pass off it, but still be balanced enough to be a very good passing team as well.
What went into the quarterback thinking, and how did you
I think part of it was just that, to this point, anyone who had the full load, the full responsibility of the job, it was just, I guess the big thing is we felt like if we would share the load a little bit, it might take just a tad bit of pressure off of Grayson or Bryce or Fatone or whoever. So just say, it's all on you. Hey, you're going to play some, you're going to play some. You get a TD on this drive, hey, we'll give you another one. Struggle, we may put the other guy in for a minute, but don't worry, you'll be back in more than likely, So we just wanted to create a little competition, but also create some buffer for them a little bit too. So that's kind of what the thinking was.
Sony had a really big day and he's taking on more responsibility, it seems. How do you feel like he's handling that?
Great. He's a very tough kid. Everybody's always looked at him as a third down back or a situational back, but he really is a tough runner. He can run inside, outside. Even last week, gets his hand broken within the first 2 plays or whatever, and finishes the game, and then comes back with the cast on. And his dominant hand is his right hand to hold the ball, and now all of a sudden he's trying to have his left hand to be the dominant hand, so because he can grip it better. And that takes practice, takes time. Now I know one ball got punched out on the sideline. Thankfully it went out of bounds, but for the most part I thought he secured the ball well, along with just running well.
Mark, did you feel that the speculation had just gotten too rampant by Thursday, and that's why you addressed it on Twitter? Because sometimes those things can kind of...
Well, yeah, I mean, as far as the Coach Pruitt thing, yeah, I mean, I was like, where's this coming from? It makes 0 sense. So, I mean, when you have players in class going, what's going on? Something happened that morning that, I don't know who got this misinformation. And it's really a shame that kind of stuff is flying around. But I felt like, yeah, I need to do something. And I could have gone to Claude and made a statement, but I figured with the Twitter account, there's close to 200,000 people on that. I figured fairly quick the word would get out. I think I just counted to about 1.5, and it just started exploding, and everybody retweeting and all that. So the word got out fast, and that's what I was hoping would happen.
Mark, I know winning and losing recruiting never stops. What's the message you tell the prospects when you're hosting them or talking to them?
Yeah, just come on. Let's go play ball. Let's get ready to win. And that's how we're doing.
You feel like this is something you can build on? You're talking about a lot of positives here today. You feel like you got some
Absolutely.
momentum?
It's a very positive thing that happened. Again, it's just 1 week, it's 1 game, but it certainly has us moving in a very positive direction, and that's what you want at this point.
Give Keith Marshall, I guess, more of a workload. You feel like, what went into that, I guess?
Just how he practiced, and the more and more healthy he's looking. I think he actually pulled his knee brace off for the first time since the injury. Sometimes you just got to take it off and go play. And I really felt like we saw a difference in his movement even throughout practice. And I was glad to see him have a productive day.
Mark, Colton said that he and John had decided earlier this week that they were just going to go out and have fun.
Yeah,
no matter what.
They need to.
Was that prevalent across?
We talked about that, just before the game. I'm like, man, we're about to go into our world, which is, we get to play football. You get to be between those lines in a world where not many people get to play. Not many people get to play football like they do and get to do it between the hedges. A lot of people dream of an opportunity like that. So let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy each other. And I talked to them about, young kids when they play football. I think 2 of the things young kids get excited about is maybe the first time you tackle somebody on the ground. It kind of makes you feel like a man when you're a kid. All of a sudden you tackle somebody to the ground. It's like, man, that felt good. And then the other thing I think young children like, or young kids like about football, is they get to play with their friends. So I said, let's go knock some people around and play and play ball with your friends. Let's go enjoy the game for the reasons you started playing it to begin with. And yeah, that was a big part of the message. But that's part of what I was saying right before we hit the field. It sounds like they had already decided to do that anyway. So I'm not claiming that for them, but they know it was the last SEC home game. Right? They know time is running out of their career and their opportunity to do this thing. Let's enjoy it, man. Let's enjoy it. And thankfully, we played well and won the game, because you tend to enjoy football better when you win. It's not like the YMCA where everybody gets a trophy, and you don't keep score. But I think they keep score in the YMCA. Depends on the sport. Anybody else? All right, thanks, folks.